right, so it is 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Today's Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, roll call.
Flores,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Here.
Hussein, Jost, here, Mesa
Here.
Pelletier here, Puzo, here.
Okay. Next is public comments, agenda items only.
No comments.
All right, thank you. Okay. First, I would just like to mention there is a corrected date for the August board meeting date. It is August 14th instead of the 7th. So having said that, I will make a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, which will include the regular board meeting minutes from October 17th, financial reports for October 2024, 2025 board meeting dates, and 2025 holiday closures.
I'll second it. August 15th, August 7th.
Any questions? Or no, we are doing consent agenda, so.
Gonzalez?
Here.
Yes.
Yes. Hussein,
Yes.
Jost,
Yes.
Mesa
Yes.
Pelletier, yes, Puzo,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Next, president's report. I don't have anything. So committee reports. The main thing with committee reports would be policy, which will be under new business. So we can move on to staff reports. Hope everyone also got the chance to look over the info that Pam compiled for us from the ILA conference. Sounds like it was a really
It was a good conference, and I included the two presentations that were held on Thursday, which is normally the trustee day, that I thought would be of particular interest to the trustees, so that is why I included those in your packets. Particularly, we're going to take a look at social media. I think that certainly has changed over time, but something for all of the board members to be aware of in terms of both your professional or your library related postings and personal postings as well, just so that you're aware of the potential implications if you engage with people about library business and business stuff. So yeah, it was a really good conference. It's been a few years since I've been to ILA, so it was nice to go, and yeah, it was good. Yes, and if anyone has any questions or anything, they can.
Anything you wanted to highlight or add on your staff report?
I don't think so. Well, I did want to mention, as you saw, passport acceptance services have started. We started out relatively quiet. We did 9 in the month of October, and it's been a little quiet for the first part of November, but we just started advertising it, and apparently we're getting quite a few appointments. So next week should be really busy, so I think, which we fully intended. I think Jeff was a little concerned that he goes, all of a sudden no one's gonna come, but I'm like, oh, then people will come. So one of the things that we did decide to do also, and I think it was since our last meeting, time has lost our meeting, so we're now offering photos as well. So we determined that that would be a better draw for people. And then we're also opening that up to, we don't do the passport renewals, those are done entirely online now, but you do have to send in a new photo. So we're also opening up the, like if you want to make an appointment just to get your photo taken, we'll do that as well. So, so we think it'll be a great way for people to start to do it. Right now, there's been at least 2 people in every appointment, just so that staff can be trained. It is a little bit labor intensive right now, especially because they come up here and they use this room, so it makes it a little difficult to make sure that the circulation desk is staffed fully as well. So Jeff and I are talking about some different things with that. We did get an inquiry from someone at Northwestern who wanted to know if we would come out to the school to do some, they have like 30 people that need to get passport students. And so they wanted to know if we would go there to do it. So that is something that the State Department will allow you to do, but you have to get permission from them. So we have reached out to the State Department to see if they will allow our staff to go. And then Jeff will bring 4 or 5 people out to there.
On a regular basis? Or
No, just for,
this?
it's
Okay.
for this event. Though if they allow us to do that kind of thing, it might be something that we advertise with maybe other organizations in the area or something like that,
Mhm.
so.
How did Northwestern know?
So apparently it has something to do with, and I think Jeff is already gone for the day, he could explain a little bit how it's, it has something to do with the way that, when we appear, like if you search on the State Department website, that we seem to come up first prior to anyone else in the area. So, even though, like, the post office does it, the Niles Library does it, I think Skokie does passports and stuff like that, but we come up first, so.
Because we're M.
Yeah, and so, and, you know, Jeff and I were speculating too why that was, but I think also, the name of our library is the name of the village, right? We don't, like Niles, for example, their actual name is like Niles Main District Library, or if you're a township library or something
Right.
like that, but because, you know, because it's just Morton Grove Public Library, that might be another reason that it just comes up, or people notice that, right? I mean, they're like, well, what is a district library, what is that kind of thing, right? So, which is fine, I mean, we're happy to do that, it's, you know, it's a great service, I think that the community in the area will, you know, definitely appreciate it, and that's, you know, one more thing that we can do to maintain relevancy as we talk about that. Yeah, but so, yeah, I just wanted a quick update on the.
But once you get
passport.
approval to go someplace, do you have to get approval?
I think you have to get
every
approval
time?
every time, because I think that the State Department needs to determine whether or not that's something that's appropriate for you to go out and do.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I do think it is every time, so I don't know, we're still waiting to hear back, and I don't know if, because we're so new at this, so we're still in that kind of probationary period where we have send everything into, an intermediary, kind of our rep that we were working with to get everything set up. So right now, we're sending everything to them first, they're just making sure that we're doing everything that we need to do, and then they're sending that on.
They send it on.
And so, so far, Jeff spoke with the guy that is kind of in charge of our, of us, the other day, and he says, you guys are doing great, no issues with anything so far, so, so yeah, so all good news so far.
Is he gonna be the one who approves the Northwestern request?
I don't know who has to approve that.
'Cause
So-
that could take a while.
Yeah, well, you know, it's been interesting because when we first started doing this back in April, it took a long, long time for them to get back with us. And you know, then we found out that the person that Jeff had been emailing wasn't there any longer, and a whole slew of different things. But once we got in touch with an actual person, like I want to say in August, and things have moved very quickly. So I think that there was just some miscommunication on their end, and I'm not exactly sure what happened with the lag with that. But since we've gotten kind of connected with this other person, things have moved very, very fast. So fingers crossed that they will let us know, you know, sooner rather than later. And excuse me. Jeff is gonna, if we don't hear anything by the end of this week, by like tomorrow, so Jeff will reach out again to the State Department to find out so that we can let Northwestern know if this is something we can do, or if they need to move on to, you know, maybe a different organization that also offers this service. But yeah, so I think that'd be great if they allow us to do that. That might be some, you know, another way that we could potentially offer the service to area organizations if necessary. But yeah. And I don't think I have anything else to add unless anyone has any questions about anything in my written report or any of the staff reports.
Are we going to charge for the pictures?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're charging $15 for the pictures. We believe that Walgreens charges $16.99, so it's still a little bit cheaper, but it also still is that more than makes up for our cost for the processing of the photos.
Did we have to buy a camera and everything?
We did, yeah. Everything is all set up in here, so that we have the screen, that Jeff might have it in his office right now. So we've got the screen, we bought the camera, we bought the little printer thing, that kind of prints them on the right paper and shows you kind of the right size. We're gonna be getting a tripod. The staff is still kind of working with, because you can't have too much head for too much background. The ratio of your face in your passport photo has to be right and stuff, so there's some tweaking that has to go on, so we're playing around with that, but everyone is getting trained on the camera and everything too, so yeah, so it'll be exciting. I think, like I said, next week it looks like it'll be busy with passports, so.
Great.
Yeah, an exciting service, and something really fun to be able to offer outside of the norm.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Pam? Okay. All right, unfinished business, director annual evaluation. We will go on into executive session at the end of the meeting, so we are going to take a pause on that. So it brings us down to new business. Now, there are several policies on this. I would like to suggest that, specifically for the new ones, that those are not, so it's not one big consent, or one big, approval of all of them, just to give people the chance to maybe ask questions or just have a conversation. So I think charity collection was new, and the library use policy, the way that is kind of, am I missing any of the new ones?
Well, library use kind of takes the place of patron code of conduct, though it's considerably different, so I would almost say that it's new. Unattended children and vulnerable adults is pretty much the children in the library policy with just the vulnerable adults added to that. I know the policy committee, we met for quite a while discussing the policies, so I'll let them.
So I would just, and some of the ones that were very, minimal changes we can approve quite quickly, but, so I would just suggest, let's just.
You want to just go down the line?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
because we did have a recommendation. in
Yeah,
terms of-
it was to approve everything, but she
Well,
said
and
just to go down
discuss
the line.
the,
Yeah.
discuss the one.
Yep, so I think if we just do it individually, it should be fine. So should I just start with?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the charity collection container policy as presented.
And if you have something that you wanna bring up, you wanna bring it up.
So
now.
we're just, so we open it up, we second it, and then we can have the conversation, so.
Someone can second it.
Someone
I'll
needs to.
second it.
There we go.
Okay. Nice, somebody second me.
And now you can discuss.
And take it away, Lima.
And go to Tom.
The only thing that I had was at the very end, that last wrap-up sentence. It says collection container contents must be picked up within 5 working days after the donation period ends. Would it be helpful to specify what will happen if it's not picked up in those 5 days? Because if I'm reading this policy, I don't know what to do. Say somebody doesn't respond within 5 days, then what? Do we call the organization, give them one more chance? Do we simply destroy?
It would depend on what it was,
Mm-hmm.
so, which is why it's not included in the policy, because it could differ from case to case, depending on,
But essentially, we left it to the library's discretion.
yeah. Yeah, and if someone, usually,
usually say that.
in we can add that certainly, the library reserves the right to dispose of,
As appropriate or whatever.
we can add that. If the board wants me to. We try not to get too far into the weeds in terms of policy. I mean, I think it's not a bad thing to have some kind of statement that the library reserves the right to dispose of picked up property,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing. So, I mean, I can wordsmith that.
Or unclaimed donations or so would be left up to discretion or something.
Maybe you could say collection container contents must be picked up within 5 working days after the donation period ends, comma, after which the library reserves the right to remove donated objects.
Because it's really a space issue, that we can't have. them
Right,
there.
that's
Yeah.
exactly, right.
And then it's like, well, hey, if we were able to find a place to stake it for a couple more days, great, and if we tossed it, we told you 5 working days.
Yep, and that, they know that when they sign up for it,
Yeah.
when they sign up for the request.
It's like listed there, so.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So
Take it
what,
seriously or.
so the Morganville Public Library cannot store donations, collection container contents must be picked up within 5 working days after the donation period ends, comma, the library reserves the right to remove / dispose of donated items.
Sure.
Not
After that period.
after that period or something like that, yeah, okay.
It's basically something fancy to say, after 5 working days, it's
It's done.
it's a
It's
toss-up.
done, yeah.
We're giving it to the next charity.
Yeah,
No, that's a good point, Lana, thank you.
okay,
So
I
this
will,
will-
I will add that.
Yeah, so this will be approved as amended, so.
Okay. So do I do it again?
You already have a motion and a second, so that, because you do want them to do separate, you have to vote separately. And it can be a voice vote, it doesn't have to be roll call.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the charity collection container policy as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I'll make a motion, are you okay? Did I go?
Yep, go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm okay with that. I'll make a motion to approve the interlibrary loan policy as presented.
Second.
Thank you.
Minimal changes with this one. Yeah?
Yeah, we just removed the in-state limitation for AV, for loaning AV material, which we determined we no longer needed. And it also then, as I mentioned, allows us to request AV material from out of state. Since the Illinois code says that you shouldn't request things that you're not willing to loan, so, yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the interlibrary loan policy as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the library use policy as presented.
Second.
Considerable changes in terms of format of this
Yeah.
policy. Yeah. Go ahead, I see the wheels turn to you, go ahead.
I don't, it just somehow didn't, I had a lot of stuff that was coming up for me. I don't know if it was the way it's formatted, but for example, under general guidelines, the last bullet, sleeping is allowed. So just to clarify for myself, so if a homeless person comes in and wants to sleep on the furniture, that's okay? Okay, just.
That is what, there has been a lot of discussion and over the past several years about policies, particularly in terms of like library use policies, particularly those that have to do with, or that could be perceived as trying to target one particular audience, and oftentimes it is homeless, and a lot of times when people have no sleeping policies, it is a way to limit the use of the library by the homeless. So a number of libraries over the past several years have taken a look at their policies and determined, and sleeping is a big one that they always ask you to look at, because it's one of those that everyone says, oh no, you shouldn't be sleeping in the library, but we let people sleep in the library all the time, right? I mean, if someone puts their head down on a table, we don't go over and wake them up, those kinds of things. So basically what we're trying to get at is, if your behavior is not disruptive or, causing a hardship or making it difficult for someone else to use the library, either another patron or a staff person, that kind of thing, generally we're going to allow that type of behavior. So So as long as someone is sleeping, or if someone is sleeping, as long as they're not snoring loudly and laying on the floor or laying on a couch or those kinds of things, that's not something that we would, choose to go over and wake them up, that kind of thing. If that is something that the board agrees with, but in general, that's kind of our practice, or has been our practice.
So is everybody cool with that kind? All right. Then I have a question about, it seems like depending on the public space, the computer room, quiet reading room, study room, each of those places seems to have a different beverage and food consumption. Is that confusing to patrons, like, oh, if I'm here, I can nibble on my potato chips, but if I'm there, I can't?
So, I mean, so here's the thing. So one of the things that we are going to do in conjunction with this is have posted rules in each of these areas, which is not something that we have right now.
Yeah.
So while there is some sense that I could have chips if I'm sitting in the study room, but I'm sitting in the computer room and now I can't have chips, right? I guess you could argue that someone would say, well, how come I can have them here but not here? But we don't allow, we also don't allow food, like if you're using the YS computer, we don't allow you to eat while you're sitting at that table, right? So you're allowed to do different things in different parts of the library.
Right, I didn't realize that this was the case.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I was like looking at her like, if I'm.
So it has been requested that we do not allow food consumption in the computer room or around the computers. So, but that people can have covered drinks, like, if they've got a can of pop or they have a coffee or that kind of thing, they can have that sitting there.
Right, and I mean, we sell from vending machines, so I could see a patron saying, well, wait a minute, I just bought this here and now I can't eat it here.
They can eat it in other parts of the library.
So, but they would be told where they
Yeah.
can come. I think the signs would help.
Yeah, for sure, yes. The other big change to this, besides kind of going through and pointing out appropriate behavior in different areas of the building, are what will happen if you violate any of these rules, which was not really clearly spelled out in the patron code of conduct. And and then also both for patrons and for the staff, kind of set, here's what will happen that will get you suspended for one day. Here's what would happen, what you'd have to do if you got, if we were gonna ban you for a month or 6 months or a year, whatever. So staff always, and patrons as well, they always prefer and appreciate having things as spelled out as possible. So that is something that they have appreciated that we are including in the new policy or in the rewritten policy.
So one thing that kind of concerned me is possession or use of a weapon. How comfortable is staff, like if somebody would come up to them and say, I saw somebody's got a gun in their pocket. Are they trained for what they do next?
They call 911.
They just call the police, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have any expectation that the staff should be heroes. I try to empower the
No,
staff to call
absolutely not.
911, and that no staff should have to engage with someone that would make them feel unsafe in that way.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're very close to the department too,
Yeah.
so it's,
Yeah.
Pardon?
we're very close to the police department.
Yeah,
So if
and they're responsive, so they would, yeah. Yeah, anything like that, the staff is trained to call 911.
Lyman, do you have any other questions?
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you? Okay, so I don't think we made any changes, but we want to give everybody a chance to go through that, so. Okay,
All those in favor, excuse me, of approving the library use policy as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the naming policy as presented.
I'll second.
So there were really no substantive changes to this policy, just mostly formatting and grammatical, so.
All those in favor of approving the naming policy as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll make a motion to approve the public posting policy as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. I think it was just taking out the bulletin board.
yeah, the bulletin board.
And then those little free newspapers that we don't get anymore, so I just
Yeah.
remove specific ones.
Yeah.
So minimal changes.
Minimal changes with that one.
All those in favor of approving the public posting policy as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I will make a motion to approve the unattended children and vulnerable adults policy as presented.
I'll second. Thank you.
And this one is different, as it was just children in the library policy before.
I think that was a good addition.
Yeah.
We had seen that at some other libraries as we always like to see what other people are doing when we, look at our policies. It's kind of one of the steps that we take. And we all agreed as well that we thought that adding that was a good idea, because we do serve a number of vulnerable adults, so.
Yeah.
There was, if the committee is comfortable, or if you guys want to talk about the discussions that came up for this one.
We're good?
We're good? Okay,
Yeah.
we're good.
Do you want me to?
No, I think he's.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
had some,
yeah.
okay, never mind that. We had lots of discussion about the policy and what should be included, and if we should have a separate policy that deals only with vulnerable adults, but it sounds like,
Okay.
after thinking about it, we've been okay.
Did you motion?
Yeah, I did.
Motion's open.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the unattended children and vulnerable adults policy as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the volunteer policy as presented.
I'll second.
And we got no substantive changes, just a few grammatical and.
Great.
Okay, last one, we'll vote on the volunteer policy as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all, thank you for, meeting and going over all of those. Okay, so, director annual evaluation, so I'll make a motion to go into executive session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body as allowed per 5 ILCS 122C1.
Second.
Thank you.
Hussein,
Yes.
Jost,
Yes.
Masajak,
Yes.
Pelletier, yes, Puzo,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Should I leave?
I'll need another vote. Yes, we will, executive session is just for the board members.
Oh, now I really want to stay.
Very curious, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it is repetitive.
Now you have to roll call in.
Okay.
And then vote on
But the
it.
just like guy.
After we roll,
Oh, yes.
I don't know where he went.
after we roll,
Yeah.
all right?
I think he left.
I'm sure he's
okay.
right outside, I'm sure you had comments for the.
Oh, really? Oh, we can see. All right, so it's 7:51. We are back in open session. We will roll call back into open session.
Hussein,
Yes.
Jost,
Yes.
Lisa J,
Yes.
here, Puzo, here, Flores,
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, so we do have an item to vote on. I will make a motion to approve the 2025 salary for Pam Leffler in the amount of $136,425.
I'll second.
One,
36,425. Thank you.
I just didn't want to mess that up.
I was
Okay.
wrong in the minute.
All right, we will vote on that. Jost,
Yes.
Lisa J,
Yes.
here, yes. Puzo,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Great.
All right. Okay, communications, yay him. Communications, we didn't have any. We had, the graphic. I really love this, see, but I really want her to create a t-shirt.
The graphic, I know, it's really cute.
I
It's
don't
really
think I
cute.
got that in my email. Did you
Oh.
get that, Mark?
Look how pretty.
Oh, you know
Look how
what?
pretty.
I'll send it to you, so you've got
I
it for
saw a
your
little bit of
records.
this on the website,
Isn't
that was
the
cute.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll send it, I'm sorry, I'll send it to
I
you on
really
the,
enjoy that graphic. I love it.
for your records, I'll send you.
You don't need to, I'll look at it now.
Okay.
Public comments, non-agenda items. Our gentleman left, but he did ask about the naming policy. Okay.
But I just have one thing.
Go
I
for
noticed on the, summary here under President's Report, it said that there was gonna be that Pam, you were gonna do a more formal summary of the crisis communication for libraries.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet,
Okay,
so I
so
will,
next
yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, I still plan on doing that, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Policies took a lot longer this month than.
Yeah.
than- I mean, because there was a lot and we had lots of meetings with the department managers just because we were
You could
changing,
tell,
so.
it was a lot.
Well, and then, yeah.
And I felt like that was kind of, I want to stay on the schedule and stuff, so that took up a little bit more time than I had
appreciate
anticipated
that.
that it normally does, so.
Okay, so we are at 7:54. Adjourned.